Hi there, I'm Shannon Elhart with Green Heart, and in this video you are going to learn about how to decide whether it's your intuition guiding you or your wishful thinking or just thinking, overthinking thinking. This is part of a 5 video series. This is video number 4 out of the 5. So if you haven't seen the others, I'll help you find those at the end of this video. But one thing that comes up for me, I know often, and for people who I speak with, is how do I know? How do I really know that this is my intuition and not just me creating the answer that I want to find or just searching so hard for it? So really, keep in mind the choice is yours. When it comes to making life decisions, you can choose to listen to someone else, even your wonderful mom or your best friend or someone else. But usually, when we do that, we start making decisions to make other people happy or to have other people approve of us, and we end up being unhappy. You can also listen to yourself, which is often muddled. It can be, especially if it's a big decision that involves some fear, and that can be evident through feeling anxiety or overwhelm or even anger, worry, confusion. And then our decisions can be very difficult to find and often lead us to somewhere that's often less than happy also. Third option is to listen to God or the universe and your highest self. And that's where the magic happens. That's where we really start to get that true guidance from our true selves and from what is true in the world and not fear based or trying to get approval based. So, how do you know the difference? I'm going to share 6 tips for that, but I really want to quickly share a really fabulous quote by Mary Mainen Morrissey. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but I apologize if I am, Mary. But this is what she says. Parachutes weren't proven trustworthy by having people carry them around on their backs. The device showed its reliability once someone jumped. God, too, can be trusted with our lives, which we discover once we take a leap of faith. Kind of cool, right? So that's what we need to do. And feel free to tweet that if you want. It's a great one to share with the world. But that's when we learn to tap into our intuition, is start trusting a higher source, not just ourselves. So here are 6 tips I want you to keep in mind when you're trying to decide between a decision and feeling whether is it my intuition and something that I'm being guided to do, or am I just thinking this up? So the first thing is God, the universe, or higher power would never guide you to hurt someone else, to cause pain to actually yourself, another person, or really any source of life. That guidance is never really from love-based energy like God. So know that. Second tip is to watch your thinking. If something is a thought, a nudge, a vision, if it seems to come from nowhere, that's your intuition. If suddenly it just pops into your head, that's intuition. Now, sometimes I'm not sure, and I'll like kind of retrace my thoughts. And if something led up to it, if the thought popped in, and then I can go back and see where I created it, where my thinking was leading up to it, then I know it's from me. And so if it's random and out of the blue, that's your intuition speaking. Third tip, synchronicities. If you're trying to make a decision or move forward with something and you just keep having little nudges that add up and are keep showing you a little bit closer to a certain direction, that's your intuition. If even something silly as someone mentions a book and you're like, oh, that's an interesting title. And then you're in line to get a cup of coffee somewhere or something, and someone's holding that book in his or her arms. And then, you see that book pop up on an email. And it's a special deal you can order. It's like this book is popping up a lot. Maybe it's time for you to read that book or pick it up. So watch for synchronicities. The fourth one is just this resounding yes feeling. Like you just know, it just feels right. Like when you think of doing it, it just feels like, yes, this is the decision. So it's just this resounding yes emotion that you feel. The fifth tip is a feeling of being at peace, a feeling of pure joy, excitement, love, kindness, happiness. So if it's all this good mojo, you're on the right track, because that's definitely the emotion that's saying, giving you like the big thumbs up. And the last tip, 6th tip, is getting little glimpses of the future. Like if you try to make a decision and it feels like this is the right decision, If you start to really like see the future and get a glimpse of what would happen from that decision, that's likely your intuition as well. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm leaving off one tip because it's so darn good. I'm going to actually add it to the videos. Tip number 6. I'm going to add it to it, and it's really, really great. So hold on for a couple more weeks. Next week, I'm going to be talking about kind of testing out your intuition and your intuitive nudges. And then I just decided on spur of a moment to add this last tip because it's really one of my favorite ones, and it's kind of weird, but you'll like it. So for today, watch the other videos if you haven't watched them yet. Please share this video if you found anything in here helpful. I really would appreciate if you send it off to someone who could use some help working on and learning more about their intuition. And also leave a comment down below. Which of these tips are you going to implement? Or maybe you have a tip that I didn't mention and you want to share it in the comments. That would be great too, so people could see your thoughts as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I appreciate engaging with you. It's really wonderful, and I hope you're really enjoying this series. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.